Hi, I'm Dawn, and this is where Shabby meets Bling. I am venturing into uncharted territory today with my project. I will be using thrifted, clearance, and sale items to make it happen.
Welcome to This is Valloween. This is a combination of Halloween and Valentine's Day. Thanks to our host Tracy from Tracy Vanover Designs and my co-hosts Martina from the Holiday Workshop, Annie from Crafting with Indie Annie Jones, Monica from Up All Night DIY, Morena from Morena's Corner, and Nancy from Handy Scandy. You will find the links to their channels and this playlist in the description box below. I picked up these two black nutcrackers during an after Christmas splurgy sale, and you can see that they are both broken. This one's missing the doodads on his little crown. They were both 10 something each, and I got them for 90% off, so like $1.10 each, which was fabulous. And their noses are broken, and I am gonna turn them into something else, and why not? They basically were given away. They're solid wood, and I am going to start this project with these two handsome gentlemen. Step 1, disassemble. If you notice, they are identical, and when we're done, they will not be identical. I have removed their arms and their little doodads that they're holding, their staffs or whatever they may be. And now I'm removing the broken noses. Actually, one nose is completely gone. And I'm just gonna finish the job on this guy because they don't need noses anymore. Once the noses are off, then I am sanding. I'm sanding the whole thing because it has a little bit of a sheen to this paint that's on there. And I need to get rid of it, and I need to get rid of any excess glue that is around the parts that I have taken off. Now, if you see here, his feet are kittywampus. They don't come straight out, and that bothers me. That bothers me a lot. So his little shoes need to come off. So I'm just using my coping saw, and I'm gonna saw until I get his little shoes off, and then I will later reposition them. But they've got to go. Once they are totally prepped, I am going to paint them, and they are going to remain black, but I am going to cover them each in black chalk paint. This is a Valloween, so it's a combo of Valentine's Day and Halloween. Actually, I've got a nutcracker, so this is Valloween Miss. Throwing a little Christmas. We're going to give them each a really nice coat of black chalk paint. It's ink. This is the color palette that I'll be working with for this project. I have apple red, cottage rose, and pure orange. So pretty together in combo. I am going to start by painting his little crown, this one's little crown anyway, in that apple red. And I won't get the brim, and I won't get the little nubbins on top, but the crown itself will be red. Here you see what happened to the other guy. We cut his little really mangled crown off. It was really, really in bad shape. So I told you they were going to be different, and this is the beginning of how they will be different. That little crown is the only part on the whole nutcracker that is not solid wood, but you can still sand it. So it's a little crooked at this point, and I'm going to give it a good sanding, and then we will continue. Back to nutcracker number 1. He already has some legs, as you can see, and now it's time to start in on his face, his little tiny skeleton face. And I am going to start by giving myself an outline of where I want certain things to be, like his nose, which I'm doing right here. Then I move on to the side of his head, where I want the actual skull to end. And then from there, I will work out where I want his big old hollow eyes to be. And once I have his eyes designated, I will move on to filling in where his mouth will be, and then I will do his little teeth. And it's just filling in the empty spaces basically and giving the nose a little bit of shape and getting those teeth painted in. And we have a skeleton. Woohoo! Now we're going to use that apple red and give this guy some fancy boots. Some fancy apple red because it is Valentine's Day, right? So we need to incorporate some red into his little outfit. Once his boots are complete, I will then begin to paint his actual upper body, his torso, and his jacket will be that beautiful pink, that just gorgeous pink. So red and pink and orange, remember, is the color palette of the day. Now for some accessories. I am going to use this bamboo mat that I picked up at Goodwill for half off of $1.50 because it was a pink tag week. This is a bamboo mat and it's used to make sushi rolls. But I am going to take this thing and I'm going to cut it apart and we're going to make a quiver out of it. Yes, a quiver. Because you know what? One of my little guys is going to be Cupid, basically. Little Cupid nutcrackers. They're actually going to be the Queen of Hearts Cupid guard. Why not? So I am gluing the actual string that is used to hold this mat together because it's going to get cut apart. And if I don't do this, the whole thing will just disintegrate into bamboo stick after bamboo stick. And that's not what I'm after. Once I have the width cut in half, I am gluing my strings again. And then we're cutting the length in half because I only need half of the bamboo mat. Next step, we're going to paint it. We're going to use some of that beautiful red again. And I'm going to paint the entire inside of the mat red, that candy apple red. Once the inside of the quiver is painted red, I have a little wood button that I'm going to paint red as well because this is going to be the bottom of my quiver. We don't want our arrows falling straight through the middle of our little quiver. I got the bright idea that painting all three colors on the exterior would be really pretty. I think it is really pretty, but the time consumption part of this was not well planned, not thought out properly, but I'm glad I did it. I'm using the orange, the pink, and the red to alternate all the way down my little exterior of the quiver so it looks kind of like what I'm gonna do to it next, which is to use this pink, this orange, and this red ribbon to weave through the exterior. I am starting with the red ribbon and then I'm just going to alternate from the red to the orange to the pink and back to the red. And this part too is a little bit time consuming, but that's why I painted the bamboo the way I did, is because I wanted it to resemble the weaving that I'm doing on the exterior now. So it's basically over and under and over and under, and then the next row is under and over and under and over, and then back to over and under until you've covered the entire surface from top to bottom. Well, you can't have a quiver and not fill it with arrows. So I picked up these picks, these little heart picks, and I'm not sure where I got them. I think I got them at Hobby Lobby. I don't know. I may have got them at the Dollar Tree, one or the other. But I'm going to take these little picks and I'm cutting the stick off of them. And that went flying. And then I am going to sand down where the stem was. Then I will drill a hole in the top of the heart. And then the stem that I cut off, I will turn around and glue into the top of my heart. So that our arrow truly looks like an arrow, we need to create fletching, the little thin part on the back part of the arrow. And I'm just using some cardboard as usual to draw out the way I want my fletching to be. and I'm going to cut out the little template, and then I'm going to draw it on to some really pretty aged cardstock. And there will be 2 of these little pieces per arrow, and I'm making 5 arrows in total. Once I have them cut out, I will glue them to my stem, and then I will cut the tiny little feather-like individual pieces so that it really does look like an arrow. You can't have an arrow and not have a bow. So this took some thinking, but I ended up making a little template out of cardboard, and I will be tracing it 2 times over on this plastic lid. I will cut them out, I will paint them black, I will attach 2 little wood balls to the end of each, and I will either be using a stick like this, or I will be using some embroidery thread to attach my 2 ends of my bow through my little nutcracker's hands. Nutcracker number 2 needs to hold something, so I figure I'm a huge fan of candy heart boxes, so let's make him a candy heart box. I am taking a paper mache heart box. I picked up 6 of these at Hobby Lobby. They're so inexpensive, and I love me some paper mache. So I am tracing the little heart down quite a bit because heart boxes aren't that thick. They're relatively thin, and I'm going to cut this little guy down. Using my box cutter to score the line very carefully, and then I will come back with my ever handy carving knife, my little serrated knife, and I will cut the rest of the way through my little heart, and then come back with a little bit of sandpaper to make it all nice and smooth, because what are we doing next? You know what we're doing next. Yes, we're painting. We're painting it the beautiful apple red. It is so pretty, so fun and vibrant, but just painting this is not enough, because to me this just screams Valentine's. This does not scream a Valloween, and we need this thing to scream Valloween. So the next step is to jump into Canva. I am simply using a series of ovals, just layered ovals, to create a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin, and it's basically gonna be in a heart shape versus in a pumpkin shape, and yet you'll get the illusion that it is a pumpkin. So layering piece after piece with a little bit of shadowing, a second oval behind each piece, darker than the first color, the color that's on top, and I will continue with this layering until I get the shape I want. And once I do, I'm going to add in jack-o'-lantern faces. They have quite a few jack-o'-lantern faces to choose from, and I chose 3 in total. And I am doing a layering here as well. I am doing 2 of the same jack-o'-lantern faces on each pumpkin, 1 in a lighter shade to make it look like the edge that you would get when you carve a jack-o'-lantern. And then on top, I will have a black, just kind of slightly overlapping to portray dimension. Here's my cute little jack-o'-lantern. And now I'm taking some of that orange paint that we've been using for this project, and I am just touching up each and every one of my little jack-o'-lanterns, my jack-o'-lantern hearts, to make it look like this is watercolor. And you really do get the illusion. I've got a vintage looking parchment paper that I printed these on, and so it's thick enough that it's not going to wrinkle when you paint over top of it. And this really does, when you're done, give you the illusion that this is a watercolor little jack-o'-lantern. If you have a candy heart box, you need candy. So we are going to use these little wood items, the little puck looking thing, and the little hearts, and these little spiders to make us some candy for our box. I'm painting some of my little hearts and those little pucks in a Sierra brown, a dark brown, You can use anything that you think looks like chocolate. And I have added dimension to my little hearts. I have a few of them stacked in 3s and a few of them stacked in 2s. And I will paint some of them in that brown, as I mentioned, and others in white, as you see here. And then I will do some little decorations on some of them, not all of them. And then we will be adding them to one of our little candy heart boxes. I will be using the staffs that I took out of my little nutcrackers' hands and this thrifted little candle kind of situation. Candle holder. It's old, it's ceramic, and I'm going to be painting them and adding a heart or two and a little candy heart box as a little bit of a topiary in my design. I have already given my little candle holder one coat of chalk paint, and this is the second. You know, I'm a sucker for a wood base, so I am using this wood plate that is meant to hold a cloche, and I'm going to use it upside down as my wood base. And you can see it's cracked bad, so I'm going to glue it and clamp it, and then I will give this a couple coats of black chalk paint as well. To finish off my project, I will be using these roses and these feathers as further embellishment.
All of my final embellishments have been applied, so let's take a look.
What a great way to celebrate Valloween with a little Valloween candy heart box. You can see all the cute little candies, the little miniatures, and the lovely jack-o'-lantern heart that is on the front. Doesn't it look like watercolor? It really does. Really pleased with it. Here's our little arrows. You can see the fletching made out of that cardstock and now looks like feathers. And the little arrow point, the little arrowhead out of the heart. Here's a really good look at our quiver. And you can see the detail in the weaving through the bamboo and how all the colors blend so nice. And there's our arrows in the quiver. And how about the bow? Out of a plastic lid and 2 wood beads and a little bit of embroidery floss. I think it'll pass as a bow. And here's where our roses ended up, in his hand as a bouquet. Here's another of my candy heart boxes. And you can see this one is decked out with a bow and a beautiful rose, just like you'd find in the stores, minus the Halloween theme. And there they are, ready to make everyone fall in love this Valloween. Here's a look at the base with the open candy heart box, a couple extra pieces of candy, some Valentines strewn about, and you can see their beautiful little boots, their little bone legs, and the pearl detail on their jackets and on the sleeves of their little cuffs. Little cuffs were made with 2 different types of ribbon. And their crowns, all bejeweled and glittered. 'Tis still the season for glitter. It's always the season for glitter. I think they have something they want to tell you all. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valloween. Thanks again to all my talented co-hosts for joining me in This is Valloween. You will find the links to their channels and this playlist in the description box below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, share it with your family and friends and anybody that loves Valentine's Day or Halloween. You can follow me on Instagram and check out my shop on Etsy. Leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you. The best way to support my channel is to subscribe, so don't forget to subscribe. But for now, this is Dawn with Shabby Meets Bling. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.